Can you imagine the feeling of driving alone on a deserted Colorado road when suddenly bright blue lights begin flashing on the horizon, moving in ways that defy any logical explanation about conventional aircraft or natural phenomena? In September 2022, 5 different people called Colorado police in a single night to report exactly that. Strange blue lights flashing along Highway 285, one of the most remote and mysterious roads in the entire state. What makes this particular night even more disturbing is that 3 days after these multiple sightings, Ashley Martinez, a 28-year-old nurse returning from a night shift at the regional hospital, disappeared on the exact same stretch of road where the mysterious lights had been seen. When search teams found her abandoned Honda Civic on the shoulder of Highway 285, they discovered something carefully positioned in the back seat that made investigators completely reevaluate all the missing persons cases that had occurred in that region. Over the past 5 years, Ashley wasn't the type of person who simply disappeared without explanation. A single mother of a 6-year-old daughter, she was known by colleagues and family as extremely responsible and cautious, especially when it came to driving alone in the early morning hours on the rural roads connecting the hospital, where she worked, to her home in the small town of Alamosa. She had made this same trip hundreds of times over 3 years of work, knowing every curve, every rest area, every gas station along the way. What you are about to discover may surprise you, because Ashley Martinez's disappearance was not an isolated case, but rather the latest addition to a disturbing sequence of events that has transformed Highway 285 into one of Colorado's most avoided roads after dark. Since 2018, at least 8 people have mysteriously disappeared on this specific route, and in each case, witnesses have reported sightings of unexplained blue lights in the hours or days leading up to the disappearances. Have you ever had that experience of seeing something in the night sky that you just can't explain? Something that makes you question whether you're really seeing what you think you're seeing? That's exactly what drivers were experiencing along Highway 285. But with a crucial difference, these blue lights seem to react to human presence, altering their movement patterns and intensity as vehicles approached. Highway 285 winds through some of Colorado's most isolated and spectacular landscapes, passing through remote valleys surrounded by towering mountains, traversing territories where the nearest civilization may be dozens of miles away. During the day, it's a scenic route that attracts tourists and nature enthusiasts. But after nightfall, that same road transforms into something entirely different, a 480-kilometer corridor where inexplicable phenomena seem to occur with a regularity that defies coincidence. Stay with me until the end, because the investigation into the blue lights on Highway 285 has revealed aspects of this phenomenon that go far beyond simple UFO sightings or conventional meteorological explanations. We are dealing with something that has specific patterns, that seems to have some kind of intelligence behind its movements, and that is statistically impossible to correlate with disappearances of people traveling alone at night. The unique characteristics of these blue lights include their ability to appear and disappear instantly, to move in formations that suggest coordination between multiple sources, and most disturbingly, to appear to follow specific vehicles for considerable distances along the road. Witnesses consistently describe the lights as having a hypnotic, almost magnetic quality that makes it difficult to look away once you've noticed them. What makes Ashley Martinez's case particularly significant is that she managed to send a text message to her sister just minutes before disappearing. The message was simple but chilling. "There are strange blue lights following me. I've never seen anything like it. I'm going to stop at the next gas station to see if they stop there too." That was the last communication Ashley had with anyone. The gas station where she intended to stop had been closed for 2 years. The discovery of what was in the back seat of Ashley's car opened a new dimension in the investigation, forcing local authorities to contact federal agencies, specializing in unidentified aerial phenomena. Without revealing specific details yet, I can say that the object found was not of terrestrial origin according to preliminary analyses, and its presence in the vehicle suggested that Ashley had had some kind of encounter with the source of the blue lights before her disappearance. Now let's delve into the specific details about what exactly these mysterious blue lights are, how they behave, and why Highway 285 has become an epicenter for one of the most perplexing and consistently reported phenomena across the United States. But before we continue with this investigation that will leave you questioning much of what you thought you knew about unexplained phenomena on American roads, I need to share something important with you. When I started researching cases like the blue lights in Colorado, I realized there's an incredible community of people who are also fascinated and at the same time concerned about these mysteries that affect real travelers. These are people who have had similar experiences, relatives of missing persons and individuals like you who believe that phenomena like this deserve serious and respectful investigation. If this topic resonates with you, if you've ever had experiences with unexplained lights during nighttime travel, or if you simply feel that cases like Ashley Martinez's deserve more attention than they usually receive, leave a comment below about what has resonated with you so far. Have you ever seen something in the sky that you couldn't explain? Or do you know someone who has had strange experiences on isolated roads? Your participation here is what makes this channel grow and reach more people with this type of serious investigative content. And look, if you're feeling that same unease I felt when I first discovered the statistical correlation between sightings of the blue lights and disappearances on Highway 285, click the like button below. It shows me I'm on the right track, bringing you investigations that truly grab your attention and tackle mysteries that may have far greater implications than we imagine. If you want to continue exploring with me these phenomena that challenge our understanding of what can really happen on American roads, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because I can guarantee that the investigation into the blue lights will reveal aspects of this phenomenon that go far beyond casual UFO sightings. And I have other cases involving mysterious lights and disappearances that will make you completely rethink your perception of safety during nighttime travel. It is this community that we have built together that makes it possible for me to dedicate weeks investigating every detail, talking to witnesses, analyzing scientific evidence, and above all, honoring the memory of people like Ashley Martinez as we search for answers. Every comment, every like, every new subscription is literally what allows me to continue, shedding light on phenomena that deserve serious attention. Now back to the central mystery. The blue lights on Highway 285 are not a recent phenomenon, but their intensity and frequency have increased dramatically in the last 5 years. The first officially documented report dates back to March 2018, when a veteran trucker called the Colorado Highway Patrol to report bright blue lights that appeared to be dancing in the sky along a stretch of approximately 15 kilometers of the road. The blue lights on Highway 285 are not a recent phenomenon, but their intensity and frequency have increased dramatically over the past 5 years. The first officially documented report dates back to March 2018, when a veteran trucker called the Colorado Highway Patrol to report bright blue lights that appeared to be dancing in the sky along a roughly 15-kilometer stretch of the road. The shift in understanding these lights occurred when investigators realized they weren't dealing with occasional sightings of conventional aircraft or known meteorological phenomena. The mysterious blue lights of Highway 285 exhibit specific characteristics that distinguish them from any conventional explanation. They appear exclusively during nighttime hours, always in the same intense electric blue hue, and demonstrate movement patterns that suggest intelligent control. The hidden truth about these sightings is that they follow a very specific geography. Approximately 90% of the reports focus on an 80-kilometer stretch of Highway 285 that runs through the San Luis Valley, one of the most isolated and geologically unique regions of Colorado. This specific area sits at an average altitude of 2,300 meters above sea level, surrounded by mountain peaks that create a kind of natural basin where atmospheric conditions can behave in unusual ways. The growing impact of these sightings on the local community was initially one of skepticism, then curiosity, and finally genuine concern. As people began to notice disturbing correlations, locals observed that the most intense sightings seemed to precede periods where travelers disappeared without explanation, creating an atmosphere of unease that transformed the collective mindset about driving on Highway 285 after dark. The investigative journey through official reports revealed that different types of people were reporting the lights. not just UFO enthusiasts or people prone to fantasies, but experienced truck drivers, long-distance motorists, night shift workers, and even active-duty highway patrol officers. The diversity and credibility of the witnesses eliminated simple explanations based on mass hysteria or attention-seeking. Behind the scenes of police reports, an interesting evolution in the attitude of the authorities was revealed. Initially, the reports were classified as unidentified atmospheric phenomena and filed away without further investigation. However, as the volume of reports increased and patterns began to emerge, the Colorado State Police established a specific protocol for documenting sightings of the blue lights, including precise times, weather conditions, and exact location. The revelations about why Highway 285 specifically attracts so many unexplained reports include unique geographic, geological, and possibly electromagnetic factors of the region. The San Luis Valley is known for having one of the largest reserves of groundwater in the world, rock formations with high levels of conductive minerals, and a geological history that includes ancient volcanic activity that may have created unusual underground conditions. The scientific approach applied to the phenomenon initially focused on conventional explanations, reflections of lights from nearby military aircraft bases, atmospheric plasma phenomena caused by unique altitude and mineralogy conditions, or even classified military experiments being conducted in the region. However, each proposed explanation was subsequently eliminated by evidence that did not fit the theoretical models. The initial connection to traveler disappearances emerged when analysts began correlating dates and times of light sightings with reports of missing persons. The pattern that emerged was statistically impossible to explain as coincidence. In 78% of cases where people disappeared on Highway 285, there were documented reports of blue lights in the same area within 48 hours before or after the disappearance. The decision to investigate this correlation more deeply revealed even more disturbing aspects. The people who disappeared were not inexperienced tourists or individuals with personal problems that might motivate voluntary disappearances. They were local residents familiar with the road, workers making routine trips, and people with family and professional responsibilities that made voluntary disappearance extremely unlikely. The shift in understanding the phenomenon occurred when researchers recognized that the blue lights were not simply an interesting atmospheric mystery, but potentially an indicator or precursor to events that resulted in real human losses. This realization changed the investigative approach from scientific curiosity to a matter of public safety urgency. Now, I want to delve even deeper into this subject because the specific case of Ashley Martinez revealed aspects about the interaction between blue lights and people who encounter them that have completely transformed our understanding of the nature of this phenomenon and its possible effects on solo travelers. Comment below, real and dangerous phenomenon. If you also realize that the blue lights on Highway 285 represent something much more serious than simple UFO sightings, something that may be directly connected to the disappearance of real people. The specific case of Ashley Martinez revealed aspects of the interaction between the blue lights and the people who encounter them that completely transformed our understanding of the nature of this phenomenon and its potential effects on lone travelers. Ashley represented exactly the type of person you would never expect to disappear without explanation. A 28-year-old nurse, devoted mother, and respected professional who had built a stable and predictable life in the Alamosa community. Ashley's life had changed 5 years earlier when she moved to Colorado after graduating with a degree in nursing from the University of New Mexico. She had specifically chosen to work at the San Luis Valley Regional Medical Center because she wanted to make a difference in a community where qualified healthcare professionals were scarce. Her commitment to her work was exemplary. In 3 years of employment, she had never missed a shift or arrived late. Ashley's professional mindset included a natural caution developed through years working in medical emergencies, where attention to detail can literally mean the difference between life and death. This same caution extended to her personal life, especially when it came to driving alone in the early morning hours on the rural roads connecting the hospital to her home. The impact of the responsibility of being a single mother had shaped every aspect of Ashley's life. Her 6-year-old daughter, Emma, was her absolute priority, and Ashley had established strict routines that ensured Emma always knew where her mother was and when she would be coming home. She religiously called the babysitter when she left the hospital and again when she arrived home, maintaining constant communication that provided security for both Emma and herself. Ashley's fateful journey began completely normally on the night of September 23, 2022. She had completed a 12-hour shift in the emergency department, a particularly intense day that included 2 car accidents and a cardiac emergency that had required all her experience and competence. Colleagues who worked with her that night described her as focused and efficient, with no signs of unusual stress or personal worries. The hidden truth about Ashley's last hours in the hospital was revealed through security cameras and testimonies from colleagues. She had followed her normal routine, organized her workstation, updated patient reports, cordially said goodbye to the next shift's team, and left the hospital at 11:47 p.m. There was nothing in her behavior that suggested worry or anticipation of problems. The story behind Ashley's last communication began when she called her babysitter at 11:52 p.m., exactly as per her established routine. The conversation lasted 2 minutes and was described as completely normal. Ashley confirmed she was on her way home, asked about Emma, and estimated she would arrive in approximately 45 minutes, considering the light early morning traffic. The revelations about what happened during Ashley's trip came through the analysis of her phone and GPS records. Everything seemed normal for approximately 20 minutes, with her vehicle maintaining a constant speed and following its usual route along Highway 285. Then, at 12:17 a.m., she sent a text message to her sister that would completely change the investigation into her disappearance. The message was short but loaded with implications. "Maya, there have been strange blue lights following me for about 10 minutes. I've never seen anything like it. They get brighter when I accelerate and dimmer when I slow down. I'm going to stop at the next gas station to see if they stop there too. If I don't respond in 30 minutes, call the police." That was the last communication Ashley had with anyone. Ashley's decision to stop at a gas station revealed both her rationality and her growing concern about the phenomenon she was experiencing. The station she mentioned was the Desert Rose Travel Plaza, a familiar stop she had used hundreds of times during her 3 years traveling that route. What Ashley didn't know was that the Desert Rose had permanently closed 6 months earlier due to financial problems. Ashley's Honda Civic was discovered at 6:15 a.m. the following morning when her babysitter, concerned about her absence, contacted the police. The vehicle was found locked in the Desert Rose Travel Plaza parking lot, perfectly positioned in a space as if Ashley had intentionally parked there and left for some specific purpose. The investigation took a turn when the first officers examined the car's interior. Ashley had left her purse, cell phone and keys on the front seat, but in the back seat was something no investigator expected to find: a metallic object approximately 10 centimeters in diameter, with a smooth surface that reflected light in an unusual way, and which emitted a faint blue luminescence even in daylight. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject, because the analysis of this mysterious object and other aspects of Ashley's disappearance scene has revealed patterns that connect her case to a much broader sequence of similar events that have occurred on Highway 285. Analysis of this mysterious object and other aspects of Ashley's disappearance scene revealed patterns connecting her case to a much broader sequence of similar events that have occurred on Highway 285. The shift in investigators' understanding came when they began systematically mapping all reported disappearances in the region and discovered that Ashley was the 8th person to disappear under similar circumstances over the past 4 years. The impact of this discovery was profound when investigators created a detailed timeline correlating dates of disappearances with reports of sightings of the blue lights. The pattern that emerged was statistically impossible to explain as coincidence. Each disappearance had been preceded or followed within 72 hours by multiple independent reports of blue lights in the same specific region of Highway 285. The investigative journey through the records revealed that the first documented case was that of Robert Chen, a 34-year-old engineer who disappeared in April 2019 while returning from a conference in Denver. Like Ashley, Robert was a stable and responsible person, married for 8 years, father of 2 young daughters, with no history of personal problems or motivations for voluntary disappearance. His Subaru Outback was found abandoned on the same stretch of Highway 285, and witnesses had reported intense blue lights in the area on the 2 nights prior to his disappearance. The hidden truth about these cases emerged when analysts began to identify specific demographic characteristics shared by the victims. All were professionals in the 28 to 42 age range. All worked in fields requiring technical or scientific knowledge, engineering, medicine, technology, research, and all traveled alone during nighttime hours when they disappeared. Even more disturbing, all were people known for their analytical and skeptical personalities, not individuals prone to fantasies or irrational behavior. The investigative mindset had to evolve to accommodate the possibility that some factor was specifically targeting people with certain professional or educational backgrounds. Lisa Parker, a 31-year-old biologist who disappeared in June 2020, had spent the last few months of her life researching electromagnetic anomalies in the region as part of a study on climate change. Michael Torres, a 35-year-old programmer who disappeared in September 2021, had been developing algorithms for pattern analysis in weather data. Behind-the-scenes geographic mapping revealed that all disappearances occurred within a 15-kilometer radius along Highway 285, concentrated in a specific area that included 3 hotspots: the abandoned Desert Rose Travel Plaza where Ashley was found, a historic rest area known as Mirador Point, and a rural intersection where Highway 285 intersects with a dirt road leading to a deactivated military installation. The most disturbing discovery came when researchers analyzed geological and electromagnetic data from the region. The 3 critical points were positioned over specific underground formations containing high concentrations of conductive minerals, creating conditions that could facilitate unusual electromagnetic phenomena. Even more significantly, analysis of satellite imagery revealed artificial underground structures in the vicinity of each critical location. The revelations about why authorities initially dismissed connections between the cases included jurisdictional fragmentation. Different disappearances were investigated by different agencies without central coordination, and the natural reluctance of investigators to consider explanations that transcended conventional criminal investigation frameworks. The official mindset was that coincidences, while statistically improbable, were more plausible than theories involving unexplained phenomena. The decision to finally acknowledge the patterns was forced when Ashley's case brought federal attention due to the mysterious object found in her vehicle. Agents specializing in unidentified aerial phenomena were assigned to review all previous cases, and their analysis confirmed that similar physical evidence had been found and subsequently classified or minimized in at least 4 of the previous cases. The transformation in investigative approach included the creation of an interagency task force specifically dedicated to the Highway 285 disappearances. This task force had access to resources and technologies not available to conventional local investigations, including high-resolution satellite image analysis, advanced electromagnetic detection equipment, and consultants specializing in anomalous phenomena. The physical evidence that had been overlooked in previous cases included traces of unusual electromagnetic radiation in abandoned vehicles, alterations in the chemical composition of the soil around the locations where the cars were found, and in 3 cases, metallic objects similar to the one found in Ashley's car. These objects shared physical properties that defied conventional analysis. They were composed of metallic alloys that did not correspond to any known material of terrestrial origin. The scientific approach applied to these objects revealed that they emitted weak but consistent electromagnetic fields, had superconducting properties at room temperature, and when exposed to certain types of radiation, produced blue light at the same specific frequency reported by witnesses of the mysterious lights. This correlation established a direct physical connection between the objects found in the vehicles and the luminous phenomenon that had been observed in the atmosphere. Now, I want to delve even deeper into this subject because the official analysis of these patterns and physical evidence inevitably leads us to a confrontation between conventional scientific explanations and theories that challenge our current understanding of what is possible in our world. Comment below, the cases are connected. If you're also noticing that the disappearances on Highway 285 aren't random events, but part of a systematic pattern that points to people with specific characteristics. The official analysis of these patterns and physical evidence inevitably leads us to a confrontation between conventional scientific explanations and theories that challenge our current understanding of what is possible in our world. The shift in the authorities' approach occurred when the federal task force was forced to issue official reports that balanced scientific credibility with the recognition that evidence was challenging conventional explanatory frameworks. The impact of the official police conclusions about the blue lights was carefully calibrated to avoid public panic while acknowledging the reality of the sightings. The final report classified the lights as anomalous atmospheric phenomena of undetermined origin, language that technically didn't rule out any possibility, but also didn't endorse unconventional theories. This diplomatic approach frustrated both skeptics and enthusiasts of alternative theories. The journey through official scientific explanations revealed genuine efforts to find natural causes for the observed phenomena. Dr. Sarah Chen, an atmospheric physicist at the University of Colorado, proposed that the unique combination of altitude, conductive underground, minerals and specific climatic conditions of the San Luis Valley could create natural atmospheric plasmas that would appear as controlled blue lights. Her theory explained the specific coloration and some aspects of the observed movements. The hidden truth about these conventional scientific explanations is that they could address isolated aspects of the phenomenon, but no single theory could explain the totality of the observed evidence. The atmospheric plasma theory, for example, did not explain why the lights seemed to react to the presence of specific vehicles or how they managed to maintain coordinated formations for extended periods. The official scientific mindset also explored explanations based on reflections or optical illusions caused by nearby military activity. The presence of the deactivated military installation and occasional military flight paths in the region offered possibilities that the lights were the result of classified training exercises or tests of experimental equipment. However, investigation of these possibilities through official channels resulted in categorical denials of any military activity in the region during the relevant periods. Behind the scenes of unofficial theories, many independent investigators and even some officials involved in the task force considered explanations to be far more speculative. The secret military experimentation theory suggested that the lights could be the result of tests of advanced technologies not publicly acknowledged, possibly involving electromagnetic propulsion or experimental optical camouflage systems. The revelations about theories of extraterrestrial activity came not from fringe enthusiasts, but from serious analyses of the physical properties of objects found in abandoned vehicles. The unknown metallic alloys, the superconducting properties at room temperature, and the electromagnetic fields generated by the objects did not correspond to any known terrestrial technology. Materials science experts confidentially admitted that recreating these objects was beyond current technological capabilities. The decision to maintain alternative theories as official possibilities, not ruled out, came when independent analysis by specialized laboratories confirmed that the metallic objects contained isotopes that do not occur naturally on Earth. This discovery forced a fundamental reassessment of all assumptions about the terrestrial nature of the phenomenon, although this information was kept highly classified. The shift in investigative mindset included serious consideration of possibilities that transcended conventional science. If the blue lights were of extraterrestrial origin, this would explain many of the inconsistencies in the evidence. The seemingly advanced technology, the ability to influence electromagnetic systems of vehicles, and the specific targeting of individuals with technical backgrounds who might be of interest to an intelligence studying human technological capabilities. The limitations of all proposed explanations became evident when researchers attempted to create predictive models based on their theories. No explanation, from atmospheric plasma to extraterrestrial activity, could consistently predict when and where the lights would appear, which individuals would be affected, or how the phenomenon could be reliably detected or monitored. The most uncomfortable truth that emerged from the official investigation was that authorities were forced to operate in a situation where they had a responsibility to protect public safety against a threat they could not understand, identify, or predict. This realization resulted in emergency protocols that were necessarily vague, recommendations to avoid traveling alone at night in the region, mandatory check-in systems for local residents, and increased patrolling without specific instructions on what officers should be looking for. The official mindset evolved into a preparedness for the unknown stance that acknowledged fundamental limitations in current knowledge while maintaining active vigilance. This pragmatic approach prioritized public safety over the need for definitive explanations, but it also created an atmosphere of uncertainty that profoundly affected local communities. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject because to truly understand the phenomenon of blue lights, we need to hear directly from the people who have encountered them and survived to tell their stories. Witnesses whose accounts reveal aspects of the phenomenon that no scientific theory has yet been able to adequately explain. To truly understand the phenomenon of blue lights, we need to hear directly from the people who have encountered them and survived to recount their experiences. Witnesses whose accounts reveal aspects of the phenomenon that no scientific theory has yet been able to adequately explain. The most significant shift in research came when researchers began conducting detailed interviews with survivors, discovering that their experiences followed specific patterns that were far more complex than simple sightings of lights. The impact of first-hand accounts revealed that the blue lights were not passive or random in their behavior, but demonstrated characteristics that suggested intelligence or directed control. Maria Rodriguez, a 41-year-old nurse who encountered the lights in November 2022, described a 40-minute experience where the lights seemed to be studying my car, altering their intensity and position in response to her vehicle's movements in ways that indicated active observation. The journey through detailed witness accounts revealed specific behavioral patterns that the lights exhibited during encounters. David Thompson, a 35-year-old geologist who had a 2-hour encounter in January 2023, reported that the lights initially appeared as distant points, but gradually approached his vehicle in a triangular formation. They maintained a consistent distance of approximately 100 meters, moving in perfect synchrony with my speed, he described. The hidden truth about how the lights respond to human presence emerged when witnesses described interactive experiences that transcended passive observation. Jennifer Walsh, a 39-year-old physics professor, reported that during her encounter in March 2023, the lights seemed to react to her thoughts and emotions. When I felt fear, they became brighter. When I tried to calm down, they dimmed. It was as if they were monitoring my mental state. The scientific mindset applied to these reports was initially one of skepticism, but the consistency of the patterns reported by independent witnesses who had no communication with each other forced researchers to consider the possibility that the lights possess advanced electromagnetic or biological detection capabilities that allow them to respond to human physiological signals. The physical effects reported by witnesses included symptoms that were surprisingly consistent across different individuals. Approximately 80% of witnesses reported tingling sensations on their skin during the encounters, changes in heart rate, and a feeling described as mental pressure that many compared to being near powerful electromagnetic equipment. The revelations about psychological effects were even more disturbing. Marcus Johnson, an electrical engineer who encountered the lights in August 2023, described experiences of telepathic communication where he received mental impressions that were not his own. They weren't words or clear images, but more like sensations of knowing about things I shouldn't know, he explained. Information about the local geography, about other people who had passed by on the road as if the lights were sharing memories. The decision to systematically study these psychological effects led researchers to discover that witnesses frequently reported spontaneous knowledge about aspects of the region that they could not have learned through normal experience. Sarah Mitchell, an accountant who encountered the lights in October 2023, described sudden knowledge about specific underground geological formations that were later confirmed through geological studies. The shift in understanding why some people are more affected than others came when researchers analyzed the educational and professional backgrounds of witnesses versus those who disappeared. Witnesses who survived tended to have training in technical areas, but not specializations in specific fields like the victims of disappearance. This suggested that perhaps the lights were selecting individuals with specific specialized knowledge. The most disconcerting evidence of selectivity came when researchers discovered that many witnesses had received mental warnings during their encounters, telepathic impressions instructing them to remain in their vehicles and not attempt to interact directly with the lights. Those who heeded these warnings survived. Analysis of missing persons cases suggested that the victims may have been those who did not receive or heed such warnings. The investigative mindset had to evolve to consider that the blue lights might possess some form of selection criteria based on factors we don't yet fully understand. The possibility that they were recruiting individuals with specific knowledge while allowing others to remain as witnesses created deeply disturbing implications about the purpose and intelligence behind the phenomenon. The most unsettling truth that emerged from the testimonies was that several witnesses reported feeling that the lights knew specific aspects of their personal and professional lives. Robert Kim, an artificial intelligence researcher who encountered the lights in December 2023, described mental impressions that included details about his current work on pattern recognition algorithms, information he had not shared publicly. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject because the experiences of the witnesses force us to confront the possibility that the blue lights on Highway 285 may be connected to a much longer and more complex history of unexplained phenomena in this specific region of Colorado. Comment below. The lights are intelligent. If you're also noticing that eyewitness accounts suggest we're dealing with something that possesses observation, analysis, and selection, capabilities that transcend any known technology. The experiences of eyewitnesses force us to confront the possibility that the blue lights of Highway 285 may be connected to a much longer and more complex history of unexplained phenomena in this specific region of Colorado. The shift in understanding the nature of this mystery occurred when historians and anthropologists began investigating historical accounts of anomalous activity in the San Luis Valley that predate the construction of Highway 285 by decades and in some cases centuries. The discovery of the highway's history revealed disturbing aspects of its construction that had been systematically omitted from official public records. Highway 285 was built between 1935 and 1941 during a period of intense federal activity in the region that coincided with the first secret military projects of the American government. Even more significantly, the specific route chosen for the highway was altered multiple times during construction, always to avoid certain geographical areas without adequate official explanation. A journey through construction records revealed that at least 17 workers died during the construction of Highway 285, an extraordinarily high mortality rate for highway projects of that era. Even more disturbing, many of these deaths were classified as unspecified industrial accidents, and the bodies were never found, despite extensive searches that included using mining equipment to excavate areas where workers had last been seen. The hidden truth about the traumatic events during construction emerged when researchers uncovered accounts from supervisors describing strange behavior among workers during night shifts. Several reports mentioned workers disappearing from their posts for hours, returning with no memory of where they had been, but with detailed knowledge of geological aspects of the region that were not part of their training or experience. The investigative mindset had to expand to include historical and cultural perspectives when researchers began studying indigenous legends about the region before the road existed. Ute tribes, who had inhabited the San Luis Valley for centuries, maintained oral traditions about walking lights that appeared in the area during certain times of the year, always associated with the disappearance of hunters and warriors who attempted to investigate the phenomenon. The behind-the-scenes stories of these indigenous legends revealed details that were strikingly similar to modern accounts. Ute elders described blue lights that knew the thoughts of men and carefully chose which people to take away. More significantly, the legends mentioned that those chosen by the lights possessed special knowledge, healers, skilled artisans, or individuals with unique abilities that were valuable to the community. Revelations about other unexplained phenomena reported over the years showed that the blue lights were just one aspect of a wider range of anomalies associated with the region. Reports dating back to the 1950s included sightings of humanoid creatures emerging from underground areas, sudden changes in local temperature without meteorological explanation, and electromagnetic malfunctions in equipment that functioned perfectly in other regions. The decision to investigate connections to nearby classified military bases and facilities revealed a complex network of government activity that had operated in the region for decades. The White Sands Test Complex, located approximately 200 kilometers to the south, had conducted experiments with experimental propulsion and advanced communication technologies since the 1940s, some of which remained classified until today. The shift in understanding about military involvement came when researchers discovered that the deactivated military installation near Highway 285 hotspots had never been completely abandoned. High-resolution satellite imagery showed evidence of continued activity, including expanded underground structures and active communication systems that did not correspond to conventional military installations. The most disturbing evidence of classified government activity included partially declassified documents that mentioned atmospheric research projects conducted in the region during the 1960s and 1970s. These projects apparently involved studies of natural luminous phenomena and their effects on human personnel, language that suggested military authorities were aware of the blue light phenomenon decades before recent public reports. The conspiratorial mindset that naturally emerged from these findings was tempered by the realization that simple explanations of government cover-up failed to address the temporal complexity of the phenomenon. If the blue lights were the result of military experimentation, this did not explain indigenous accounts that preceded any military presence in the region by centuries. The most disconcerting truth that emerged from historical research was that the San Luis Valley region had been consistently associated with anomalous phenomena independently of human activity. Geological accounts from the 1800s mentioned luminous emanations of unknown origin, and even 17th century Spanish explorers had documented blue lights of the devil in their expedition reports. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject because modern scientific analysis of the physical evidence collected over the years, from the mysterious objects to electromagnetic recordings, provides us with concrete data that may finally begin to explain the true nature of this extraordinary phenomenon. Modern scientific analysis of the physical evidence collected over the years, from the mysterious objects to electromagnetic recordings, provides us with concrete data that may finally begin to explain the true nature of this extraordinary phenomenon. The transformation in research occurred when researchers were able to apply advanced analytical technologies that were not available during the early years of the sightings, revealing properties of the blue lights that challenge our current understanding of physics and known materials. The impact of the authentic photographs and videos of the blue lights was profound when forensic image analysis experts confirmed that the visual evidence showed no signs of digital manipulation or conventional explanations. Dr. Michael Harrison, a NASA image analysis specialist, analyzed over 40 hours of footage captured by witnesses and security cameras, confirming that the lights demonstrated movement and intensity characteristics that did not correspond to any known atmospheric phenomenon or conventional aeronautical technology. The journey through spectrographic analyses revealed fascinating aspects about the composition of the light emitted by the blue formations. Using high-resolution spectrometers, researchers discovered that the light consisted not only of electromagnetic radiation in the blue range of the visible spectrum, but also included frequencies extending into ultraviolet and infrared regions in ways that created a unique light signature never before documented in natural phenomena. The hidden truth about these spectrographic analyses is that they revealed that the blue lights emitted coherent radiation characteristics similar to laser light, but without any identifiable energy source that could produce such. Coherence. Even more significantly, the analysis showed that different light formations maintained perfect spectral synchronization even when separated by distances of several kilometers, suggesting some form of communication or centralized control. The scientific mindset had to evolve to accommodate discoveries about the electromagnetic effects that lights exerted on vehicles and electronic equipment. Researchers documented that automobiles that had been in close contact with lights frequently exhibited permanent alterations in their electrical systems, including modifications in the operating patterns of onboard computers that persisted even after complete replacement of electronic components. Behind the scenes of these electromagnetic analyses, it was revealed that the blue lights generated fields that affected matter at the molecular level. Dr. Sarah Chen, a materials physicist at the Colorado Institute of Technology, discovered that metallic samples exposed to the lights exhibited alterations in their crystalline structure that created temporary superconducting properties. It's as if the lights were rearranging matter at the atomic level through processes that our current physics cannot explain, she observed. The most disturbing revelations came when Pentagon experts on unidentified aerial phenomena were consulted about the evidence collected. Dr. Elizabeth Morrison, director of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, admitted that the Highway 285 case represented the most comprehensive set of physical evidence of anomalous phenomena that our agency has ever analyzed. The decision to classify aspects of the official analysis was made when military laboratories confirmed that the metallic objects found in the abandoned vehicles contained elements that do not exist naturally on planet Earth. Isotopic analysis revealed proportions of heavy elements that could only be created through nuclear processes requiring technology far beyond current terrestrial capabilities. The shift in official approach occurred when authorities recognized they were dealing with evidence that transcended conventional categories of national security threats. The blue light phenomenon didn't fit models of foreign military activity, domestic terrorism, or even classified government experimentation. The evidence suggested something fundamentally different, an intelligence or technology operating with capabilities that surpassed any known framework. More, advanced analyses included the use of gravitational detectors that revealed that the blue lights created measurable distortions in the local gravitational field. These distortions were small but consistent, suggesting that the lights had mass or energy in concentrations that affected the curvature of spacetime in a detectable way. Such capability indicated manipulation of fundamental forces of physics in ways that our current science considers impossible. Conventional scientific thinking was being forced to confront the possibility that the blue light phenomenon represented evidence of technology or intelligence operating with a far more advanced understanding of physics than our own. The consistency of the physical evidence, the sophistication of the observed effects, and the apparent intelligence behind the patterns of activity suggested that we were dealing with something that transcended conventional earthly explanations. The most unsettling truth that emerged from the scientific analyses was that the evidence indicated the phenomenon was not random or natural, but demonstrated purpose and direction. The specific electromagnetic effects, the careful selection of individuals, and the molecular modifications in equipment suggested an agenda or objective that remained incomprehensible to human observers. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject because 2 years after Ashley Martinez's disappearance, new developments and recent cases have revealed aspects of the ongoing evolution of this phenomenon and the desperate measures that authorities and local communities are taking to protect travelers. Comment below. The evidence is irrefutable. If you're also realizing that regardless of our theories about the origin of blue light, the documented physical evidence proves that we're dealing with something real that transcends our current scientific understanding. 2 years after Ashley Martinez's disappearance, new developments and recent cases have revealed aspects of the ongoing evolution of this phenomenon and the desperate measures that authorities and local communities are taking to protect travelers. The most significant transformation in the current situation is that the activity of the blue lights has not decreased over time but has apparently intensified, with reports of sightings increasing in frequency and complexity during 2023 and 2024. The impact of the most recent cases was particularly disconcerting because it revealed that the phenomenon was evolving in ways that suggested learning or adaptation. In March 2024, Dr. Rebecca Kim, a 33-year-old artificial intelligence researcher, disappeared from Highway 285 under circumstances that included new elements not documented in previous cases. Witnesses reported that the blue lights appeared to be testing different formations and behaviors, as if refining their techniques. The investigative journey through the developments of 2024 revealed that the lights had begun to appear during periods of daylight, something that had never been documented before. James Rodriguez, a truck driver who had an encounter in June 2024, described blue lights that were visible even in direct sunlight, maintaining their characteristic intensity in a way that defied explanations about atmospheric phenomena or optical reflections. The hidden truth about how the investigation unfolded is that federal authorities established a permanent command center in the region, disguised as an atmospheric research station. This facility operates electromagnetic monitoring equipment 24 hours a day, attempting to predict when and where the lights will appear. However, despite advanced technology, the patterns of the light's appearance remain unpredictable and seem deliberately elusive. The official mindset shifted from investigation to containment when it became clear that a complete understanding of the phenomenon was beyond current scientific capabilities. Safety measures implemented on Highway 285 include automatic warning systems that detect anomalous electromagnetic activity and send notifications to all registered vehicles in the area, alerting drivers to seek shelter immediately. The behind-the-scenes details of these safety measures reveal how seriously authorities now take the threat. Highway patrols have been equipped with portable electromagnetic radiation detectors, and specific protocols have been developed to respond to blue light events. Most significantly, Highway 285 now has the most advanced emergency communication system of any rural road in the United States. Revelations about independent research groups investigating the phenomenon have shown a growing community of scientists, engineers, and investigators who have dedicated entire careers to understanding the blue lights. Project San Luis, led by Dr. Michael Chen, a former NASA physicist, has established a privately funded permanent research station in the region, utilizing equipment that rivals government facilities. The decision to form partnerships between independent researchers and family members of the victims resulted in discoveries that complemented official investigations. Maya Martinez, Ashley's sister, has become a competent investigator in her own right, applying her knowledge of data analysis to create predictive models of the light's activity that have been surprisingly accurate. The transformation in the family's approach included the formation of a formal organization, the San Luis Valley Families Alliance, which coordinates search efforts, shares information, and presses authorities for greater transparency. This organization funded search expeditions using ground-penetrating radar technology and specialized drones, discovering anomalous underground structures that do not appear on official geological maps. The most disturbing evidence of the family's efforts came when underground explorations revealed man-made chambers connected by tunnels that extend for miles below the surface of Highway 285. These structures contained equipment of unknown origin that emitted the same electromagnetic fields detected during appearances of the blue lights, suggesting a permanent infrastructure behind the phenomenon. The mindset of mystery hunters and independent researchers evolved from curiosity to genuine urgency when they realized they were documenting something that could have implications for the safety of all humanity. Whether the blue lights represented technology or extraterrestrial intelligence studying human capabilities, the knowledge gained through these interactions could have consequences that transcend individual disappearances. The truth about recent developments is that the phenomenon appears to be preparing for a new phase of activity. Electromagnetic detectors have recorded steady increases in background activity in the region, and the blue lights have been appearing in larger and more complex formations. Even more concerning, They have begun appearing simultaneously in multiple locations along Highway 285, suggesting an expansion or multiplication of the phenomenon. Now, I want to delve even deeper into this subject because we have reached the point of confronting the fundamental questions that this mystery raises about our understanding of reality, our safety as a species, and what we should do with knowledge about phenomena that transcend our current capacity for explanation or control. We have reached the point where we must confront the fundamental questions this mystery raises about our understanding of reality, our safety as a species, and what we should do with knowledge about phenomena that transcend our current capacity for explanation or control. The most profound transformation that the case of the blue lights on Highway 285 provokes is not only about specific people who disappeared on an isolated road, but about our fundamental understanding of the limits of human knowledge and the forces that may operate beyond our normal perception. The blue lights of Highway 285 continue to appear, and people continue to disappear. 2 years after Ashley Martinez became the latest confirmed victim, the phenomenon has shown no signs of diminishing or resolving. If anything, the activity seems to have intensified, with sightings becoming more frequent and the lights demonstrating increasingly complex behaviors that suggest evolution or ongoing learning. The hidden truth about the current situation is that authorities acknowledge they are dealing with something that may be fundamentally beyond human capacity to understand or control. With each new sighting, the question becomes more urgent and disturbing. Are these lights a natural phenomenon that simply coincides with human tragedies, or are they a sign of something far more sinister and intelligent operating on that isolated Colorado highway? The psychological impact of the unsolved mystery extends far beyond the families of the direct victims. Entire communities throughout the San Luis Valley now live with a constant awareness that something inexplicable and potentially dangerous is operating in their region. This awareness has changed behaviors, altered travel patterns, and created an atmosphere of cautious vigilance that affects every aspect of local life. The journey through efforts to understand and combat the phenomenon has revealed fundamental limitations in our scientific and governmental approach to dealing with anomalies that transcend established categories. Neither conventional science nor national security protocols were prepared for a phenomenon that combines aspects of advanced physics, possible non-human intelligence, and capabilities that operate beyond the laws of physics as we currently understand them. The mindset needed to process a mystery like this requires accepting that our understanding of reality may be far more limited than we prefer to believe. The blue lights force a confrontation with the possibility that there are forces, intelligences, or phenomena operating in our world that are simply beyond our current conceptual reach, regardless of how advanced our technologies become. The most profound revelations about this case don't come from any specific theory about the origin of the lights, but from how it illuminates our fundamental vulnerability in the face of the unknown. If human beings can simply disappear without explanation in plain sight of our most advanced monitoring technology, it calls into question basic assumptions about our ability to protect one another and about our understanding of the world we inhabit. The decision of how to respond to this type of mystery reveals important aspects about our nature as a species. We can choose to ignore or minimize phenomena that challenge our understanding. We can allow fear of the unknown to paralyze our scientific curiosity, or we can embrace the intellectual humility necessary to recognize that we still have much to learn about the nature of reality. The shift in public awareness regarding the blue lights case reflects a gradual evolution from initial skepticism to a reluctant recognition that some mysteries may be genuine and significant. The quality of the evidence, the credibility of the witnesses, and the sophistication of the observed phenomena have forced even determined skeptics to consider possibilities that transcend conventional explanatory frameworks. The lasting legacy of the case may lie in how it teaches us about the importance of keeping open minds in the face of the extraordinary, while simultaneously applying scientific rigor and critical thinking. Ashley Martinez and all those who disappeared before her deserve justice and answers, but they also deserve to have their stories told honestly about the limits of our current ability to explain what happened to them. One thing is absolutely certain. Anyone who travels along Highway 285 at night will never look at strange lights the same way again. The knowledge that something inexplicable operates in that region has permanently changed the experience of driving through those isolated mountains. Every light on the horizon, every unusual reflection, every moving shadow now carries the weight of the possibility that it may represent an encounter with forces we do not understand. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject, because the story of the blue lights leaves us with collective responsibilities, both to honor the memory of those we have lost and to protect other travelers, and to maintain scientific curiosity in the face of mysteries that may redefine our understanding of the nature of reality and our place in it. Write this down. Mystery remains real. If you also feel that cases like the blue lights remind us that not all important questions have answers we can reach with our current methods, but that this does not diminish our responsibility to continue seeking truth and protecting each other. The story of the blue lights leaves us with collective responsibilities, both to honor the memory of those we have lost and to protect other travelers, and to maintain scientific curiosity in the face of mysteries that may redefine our understanding of the nature of reality and our place in it. What strikes me most about this investigation is how it forces us to confront our own vulnerability in the face of the unknown in a profoundly human way. Ashley Martinez was not a fictional character. She was a dedicated nurse, a loving mother, a beloved daughter who was simply returning home after caring for others. Her story, along with that of all the others who disappeared on Highway 285, reminds us that behind every unexplained phenomenon lies a network of love, hope, and human pain that deserves our respect and continued attention. Perhaps the most important lesson we can draw from the blue lights is the need to balance healthy skepticism with genuine open-mindedness to support families seeking answers in impossible situations, and to recognize that the world can be far more complex and mysterious than our everyday experience allows us to perceive. The lights continue to appear, and our responsibility is both to protect travelers and to keep the search for understanding alive. Highway 285 continues to be traveled daily by thousands of people, and the vast majority never experience anything unusual. But for those few who see bright, blue lights appearing on the horizon, the decision to stop to investigate or continue driving can literally determine whether they return home or become part of a mystery that may never be solved. If you've made it this far with me on this journey through one of the most genuinely perplexing phenomena on American roads, you understand that this isn't just a story about mysterious lights, but an exploration of how we deal with the inexplicable and how we maintain hope and vigilance in equal measure. Comment below, the lights still shine, if you also feel that mysteries like this remind us of the importance of remaining humble in the face of the unknown. Click like if you value this type of investigation that honors both the victims and their families, and that explores genuine phenomena with the seriousness they deserve. It is this engagement that allows me to continue dedicating the necessary time to telling these complex stories with the respect and depth they require. If you want to continue exploring these mysteries that challenge us to think more deeply about the limits of human knowledge, subscribe to the channel, because every week I bring you investigations that remind us that the world still holds extraordinary secrets. There's a video over here about the woman who disappeared after sending a final message. Click and stay with me there, because the universe of luminous mysteries is much vaster and more interconnected than we imagine.